Hi, and welcome to ADHD Friendly. My mind is buzzing,
Yeah.
buzzing. I
Me
have so
too.
many things that I want to talk to Becca about, but I'm going to rein it in, people. So welcome to ADHD Friendly. I'm Patty. I am an ADHD coach, and I am here to help you thrive with your ADHD. If you want more support than is available just from checking out the podcast and my free resources, check out my ADHD Friendly membership, ADHDfriendly.com. It's where ADDers get more things done. All right, this week, episode 198. Did I already say 198? I don't think so. I know. 2 more weeks, and we're going to have our 200th episode, which it's very cool. So I'm celebrating. You can probably see it out of the corner of the screen if you're watching me on YouTube. I've got a Veggie Win.
Woo.
I'm also going to update some spending, which is not on here. So I do have to update that. I can't remember if I wrote it on here or not. And I have a tip. It's called Relational Savoring.
Ooh.
It's very sparkly. I also have a product of the week, and then our main topic, what to do when college isn't the right fit.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, so I'm going to share some alternatives because college isn't always the right fit for people with ADHD. Doesn't mean we can't succeed in college, but sometimes a different path would be a better fit. So I'm just going to share what that might look like. And then, of course, I'll finish with my book of the week, still on my reading kick. All into the Little House on the Prairie series right now. It's a whole other segment.
They're making a read.
I know. And I have been a big Little House fan forever, but I never could read the books. I tried the first one multiple times, and it was like, Paul's hunting the bear. And I was just like, it was very slow. So I'm listening to them.
Ooh,
and now I'm on the 3rd one, and I am so into it right now. Of course, they're talking about a blizzard. You know, I wanted my summer cold winter reading books, and I am like loving it. It's just a couple of chapters because it's going throughout years, but I'm like full in blizzard. I'm like, oh, I'm going to save this and listen to the rest of this later on when it's stinking hot here. I got a veggie celebration. I'm going to kick it off with my cucumber win.
Yay!
This bad boy is going to Becca. She gets to take my cucumbers because I'm growing enough that I have an abundance right now. I don't have a ton of them, but I have enough to share. And these guys are like, I guess they're like English cucumbers. They look like English cucumbers. I don't think that's what they're called, but it's a variety similar to that. So my other ones, which is what you already have, I gave her a different one. I don't like the seeds. I feel like the seeds are a little bit like, like I scoop them out because I can feel them when I'm eating.
Texture.
These I don't have to. I just peel these bad boys, and they're just delicious. I mean, oh my gosh, I have made the best salad for myself this week. So I've got a cucumber win, which if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, last year I didn't have a single cucumber. After the year before that, having more cucumbers than I could possibly deal with.
You're right.
So I'm breaking out the recipes to get back into all the different things I could do with my cucumbers. I'm going to give that guy to you.
Thank you.
And I'm also celebrating that my son talked me into getting a tomatillo. Am I saying that right?
Cute, yeah.
Plant. We're growing a bunch of different kinds of tomatoes. I really didn't want to grow another kind, but now I'm so excited that he talked me into it because they're so fun. So there's a bunch of them out there, and they grow this husk over themselves first, and it's like hollow. They're like puffs of air, and if you're a vegetable grower, just skip ahead because I had no idea. I always say, like, I really have never grown anything successfully until a couple of years ago. So everything's still very new and sparkly, but when they're ripe, they get large enough that they pull the bottom of the husk open, and that's how you know that they're ready. So now it's like a solid tomato.
Yeah.
But when they start, they're all hollow inside. And so I just thought that was like so stinking fun that I just loved it. I also have some flowers growing this time of year. I'm enjoying using my yard to fill my vases. It's all good. Okay, so that's my celebration. My garden is just taking off and thriving, picking little tomatoes every day, pretty much a handful every day right now, although there's tons that are getting ready to turn, and then I'm going to have like more than I can do anything with. But right now it's like I get like a handful every day that I get to eat and look forward to at lunchtime. All right, so what I purchased this week, I think I mentioned this last week. I got 4 pillows from Costco. They were on clearance. They were $9.97 each.
Nice.
And they're nice, like 20-inch by 20-inch blue and white striped pillows. And you'll see them when you go through my happy room. Yeah, they're really nice. So I got 4 of those bad boys because they're the perfect color of blue. So I love them. Yep. And then I went to an estate sale. This was planned. I went to an estate sale with my husband this weekend because the preview pictures showed that they had a whole lot of Fiesta ware, just a kitchen full of all different colors, just a rainbow of colors. So I went and I got 7 of the big like stew cereal bowls that are just so solid, and everything was half off because we went on the last day and they still had all of these lovely bowls. And I got 4 little salad plates, and I got a cookie jar, like a red cookie jar with the nice little sealing lid. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So I was so excited they still had that. Like, honestly, I went in and I got the lady was like, "Do you need to?" Because I'm walking like holding all these bowls. She's like, "Do you want a basket?" I'm like, "Oh, I would love a basket." She's like, "You want a big basket?" I'm like, "I want a big basket." And then I'm walking around and I'm like, "This is mine." And then they're like, "Okay, you can put that down while you're shopping." And I was like, and somebody's gonna watch it. Nobody's gonna come and like pick it up and go, because it's not like I could go back and get more. I got everything I wanted.
You were protective over your bowls.
Yeah, it was very cool. So that was super fun. It was planned. I took cash and spent only the cash I had and really feel good about it. It's so interesting to me as I'm continuing to grow my awareness around money and spending it, how it feels to spend money very intentionally. Because I was watching this sale for 2 weeks, went before it opened, stood in line for 30 minutes to get inside, still had a lot of what I wanted. And I was able to get pretty much everything I wanted because I planned and was able to take advantage of the sale. All right. So I shared last week, I bought a bread machine, which was my product of the week. And then I got a kitchen scale. And this week, the kitchen scale is a little grimy. Sorry, some things got on it. It's glowing in but it's battery operated, which I love. So you just touch and you can set how you want it to measure. I have it on ounces. It's very sparkly. I got this on Amazon. Now, when I bought it, it was on sale for Amazon Prime Days, but you can still get this guy. It is called the Nicewell Food Scale, 22-pound digital kitchen scale. It's $23.49, at least when I'm recording this episode. That's what the current price is. It was, I want to say like $12.99 when I got it for Prime Days. I can't remember now, but I don't want to say that too much because that's not the price you're going to find it at apparently right now. But it's a sturdy little guy. He had really good reviews, 4.7 out of 5 stars with over 62,000 reviews. So I was like, okay, I feel kind of confident getting, investing. I've never had a kitchen scale before. So I thought, well, if I'm going in on something new, I'd rather get something that other people have already tried it out. So that is my product of the week. If you have been thinking about getting one, I find it fun just to weigh things now. It just sits on my counter. It doesn't take up a lot of space and it's super easy. It doesn't have a plug, so it doesn't feel like, at first I was kind of disappointed it didn't have a plug, but then I realized, oh, this is going to make it much easier to put it wherever I want it, or to put it away. I don't have to worry about finding a place for a plug. I can just access it easily. Exactly. All right. So now for the tip for this week. I've never heard of this before, this term relational savoring. I found this on an Oprah Daily article. And this term was coined by Dr. Jessica Borelli. She's a PhD. And she says relational savoring is a practice in which, I'm going to read her definition, a practice in which people revisit positive moments with people they love, say getting a long hug from your spouse after a long day, or laughing with your sister until your stomach hurts, to help them feel closer and more secure in their relationship with that person. So you're not with that person when you're doing it necessarily. You're just remembering that really positive moment in time or experience that makes you feel closer to them, even when they're not right there. What I also liked about it though, and it's something I've done, I've never called it this, but it's something I've done intentionally. If I have like some stress or negative feelings going on with someone, if I think back to positive things,
happy moments,
it will kind of like emotionally shift me to that more positive place where I'm feeling positive about that person. And it's really interesting how much it changes that feeling from something that isn't really supporting the relationship to something that reconnects to a better time and can be really nice.
Kind of out of that mood or however you're feeling.
Exactly. So if you would like to try this, apparently this is something you can do with a mental health practitioner. They'll like guide you through it. But to practice it on your own, and this again was from the article, they said, think of a moment or an experience with someone you had just today, like call up something recent. It's helpful if it's just a little small thing, a funny comment someone made, a thoughtful response somebody had to something, or maybe even just like a quick hug at bedtime from one of your kiddos, just something small, and bring that to life by revisiting it. Kind of like scroll through. In coaching, we call this a movie in your mind where you're revisiting and replaying it. And just notice if you feel closer to that person thinking about that. So I did this, and I thought of my husband, who he's just the best hugger. Like he does like a really good hug. That's him letting me know he feels my hug from a distance. And it just makes me feel close to him. So I do this intentionally. But now I like the idea of relational savoring, that I'm like savoring it. If he's traveling, I can like still picture like a nice hug.
Aww.
And so just notice if it helps you feel closer to the person, you are having this intentional, like savoring the memory. And if it helps you feel closer to them, maybe even happier, because you have that connection. So I love that. Especially, we can't be near all of our loved ones all the time. We can't, friendships, so it's kind of this nice little thing that you can connect to anytime, which I like. Relational savoring. I like anything that we're savoring, because savoring is like that. I just want to swim in it. I just want to be in it. So, okay. So now on to our main topic for today. Again, episode 198. I don't know what kind of accent was that. So this is where I've been meaning to talk about this for a while. And it's not always a good fit for somebody with ADHD to go to college. Sometimes it's a perfect fit. The structure works out really well. A couple of my kiddos, it was a really good fit for. Others, not so much. College is, until the pandemic, it was such a one size fits all kind of, what college are you going to? It wasn't, are you going to college? It was, what college are you going to? It was just expected. And I feel like the pressure was so intense to figure out how to navigate this pathway. And sometimes it was driven by culture. Sometimes it was driven by parents who expected their kiddos to go, or the kid themselves who expected them to go, whether or not the environment would be set up to help them thrive. And so if it's not a good fit, there are lots of other options. It's not, well, if I can't go to college, I'll never be able to do anything.
That's it.
That's not true at all. And I think that's something, there was a lot of downsides, of course, to the pandemic, a lot of terrible things that happened.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those little silver linings of the pandemic, that it's opened up the realization that there are other pathways besides four-year colleges, or two-year colleges, or any kind of, it just depends on what's right for you. So I want to highlight first why it may not be a good fit, and just invite parents, teens, if you're thinking about getting ready to college, if you haven't gone to college and you've been beating yourself up for not going to college, and maybe you don't know why it wasn't a good fit for you. The demand on executive function skills is really high every time you go through a transition. So if you're going from elementary school to middle school to high school to college, college to the workplace, these are huge transitions, and they're all taxing your executive functions at a higher level when you make that transition. So the demand on your executive function skills to transition and function at college is enormous. And remember, with ADHD, our executive functions are impacted. So, and they're also not fully developed yet. So what is there isn't working as optimally as somebody not wired with ADHD brains. So when you think about managing time, prioritizing your time and what you do with it, organizing your thoughts and your things in ways that allow you to turn things in on time, to not lose things, to focus. All of those things are impacted with ADHD. So often it's not that we're not smart enough. It is simply a matter of our executive functions not being at the level, without scaffolding around them, to support us to be able to succeed in that environment. Also, the required courses are not often sparkly. So the idea of tolerating 2 years of courses where maybe you take one class each semester that's targeted towards something that you're interested in, but the rest are required, that you're only taking because somebody's telling you that you have to do these to check the box, are really, really difficult. Remember, our brains are wired for interest. We are interest wired brains. So if it's not interesting, it is like every day when you get to go to that class, you're expecting yourself to just start pushing that boulder the entire time.
yeah.
And it is often too high of an ask for us to be able to mount, to reach the summit and cross over. The other thing that's difficult is the delayed reward. So yes, I want the grades, I want the job, I want the blank,
Yeah.
but today I have to go to that class. Tonight I have to study for this test. The grade, the final grade isn't until the end of the semester, which is months away from where they're starting and navigating from. So that can be really difficult. But let's get to what else could work. So if this is a scenario that you're like, yep, that's me, check the box, it is not working for me. I did an AI search. I used my trusty Chat GPT pal and asked for the most common alternatives that people with ADHD are opting from college to this thing. So always confirm accuracy, especially when I'm sharing like this was from that search. But I have to say, what I came across was very much in line with what I've heard for years about what's a good fit for people with ADHD. So the first is trade programs. So this could be electrician, plumber, a mechanic, an HVAC technician, a welder, cosmetology, lots of different options here. The costs range, again, this is where I really want you to do your math, because depending on where you are listening or viewing this,
Right.
it could look very different, but they gave a range of about $5,000 to $15,000 for certification programs for this. I know when I did my nail techs back in the 90s, it was like $700, which I remember thought it was like an arm and a leg at the time because it was so expensive to us. My husband would still he still teases me. I was like, yeah, that nail school really paid off. But check your area if this is something that interests you. But the income can vary from 50,000 to 100K plus a year. So you can really make a very good living with a trade program. The next action step, if this is interesting to you, is to check out apprenticeship.gov for listings of local trade schools or apprenticeships in your area. That might be a good resource. Again, that was from ChatGPT, but I thought, oh, a website. Yeah. So that could be a place to begin your search. The next option is a community college. So maybe you like the idea of school, but a 4-year school, too much. So I've got 4 kiddos. One has a 4-year degree and is now starting a master's degree. I'm so proud of her. She's just like very motivated. She's got a couple of years off, but she got accepted and is going back this fall.
Awesome.
2 of my kiddos got associate degrees. And I have to say, it took one of them about everything out of them to finish. Just hated the whole experience. Hated. Like I was so shocked because I thought they were going to love it. Hated the entire college experience and just was like, I'm just going to finish it and I'm never going back. And they're adamant they're never going back. So community college can be a good fit for like an associate degree, which most people don't even think about.
To get,
My number 4's got her degree in the mail yesterday. I know, I was like, and she just like left it. I'm like, you're gonna open it. Like I was like so excited when I got my degree. And she's like, yeah, I just want to make sure my name's spelt right. I'm like, okay. It was really, again, about checking that box. So they have, associate degree programs. I know our local small college here has a lot of 4-year degree programs if you want to opt for that, which was kind of a cool option. We didn't have that in Raleigh. There are certificate programs like graphic design, early childhood education, IT. These typically cost anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 a semester at a community college. And depending on the field, you can expect an income when you're done of around $35,000 to $70,000. And the next action step would be to reach out to your local community college and maybe meet with an advisor to explore your options. They have lots of different things that can help you, even like if you have no idea what you would study, to help you figure out what would be a good fit. So that's another. The next is, and this is my favorite, clearly, entrepreneurship or being self-employed. It is very, very common for people who have their own businesses to have either a diagnosis of ADHD or to meet the diagnostic criteria, even if they don't have a diagnosis. Because often we're doing so well working for ourselves that because we're doing something that we were motivated enough to do that we started a business around it. So the interest is typically there. So we often are working with our brain in a way that the interest is fired up. So the challenges really melt away, and we quickly outsource the things that get in the way
Totally.
if we're thriving in it. So this can be the thing that gets in the way of thriving with it if we're not outsourcing it. And so ADHD brains thrive in self-directed work. So this could be anything from like dog walking, web design, and this is, you know, lovely because it can be done remotely, selling on Etsy or eBay, coaching, hello, and tutoring. Like there's lots of options, and the cost really depends on what you're going into, but it's typically anywhere from a few $100s to maybe around 5K is a good investment. And it depends. I know like with coaching, education isn't like, there's not like a governing body that overlooks the coaching pathway. So I, you know, Becca could go with no coach training tomorrow and decide I'm a coach, and that's all it takes. I am now a coach. Because I remember when I went through coach training and I was in school and they were like, you can start calling yourself a coach. And I was like,
No.
that doesn't feel right. I mean, I was in school, but I'm like, I now know people that call themselves a coach all the time and have zero coach training. But I will say coach training has gone up a bit in recent years. So it's probably a bit more than the 5K, depending on where you're doing the program through. Income is very variable. It really just depends how much time and how much your business grows, how much time you're putting into it. A lot of entrepreneurs do it as a side gig, do it as an addition to, it really is very flexible. I love that because it really is setting your hours, which is also very ADHD friendly because not all of us thrive in the same 9 to 5 schedule that a typical full-time job requires. So if this is something that sounds right up your alley, the next action would be to explore your interests and strengths, maybe through look up like small business supports in your area. SCORE, SCORE, is a free service through the Small Business Administration. So that might be a place to see if there's a SCORE chapter, SCORE, in your area. They're often run through community colleges. So
makes sense.
Yeah. And I have to say, I did use SCORE both in Raleigh, and then when I moved here to Illinois, I met with SCORE advisors and was very helpful both times. Okay. There's like lots of entrepreneurs or retired business people that volunteer their time and they help advise you on, you know, incorporating and, you know, just different things to get you started as well as running your company. Okay. So another option is IT or tech certifications and boot camps. So this could be coding, data analytics, and that type of thing. I don't know a lot about that. So this is like really quick little description there, but the cost is anywhere from $3,000 to $15,000. And the income's actually really good. It's from $50,000 to $90,000 a year when you get your certification. And the action step, if this is something that sounds like a good fit for you, would just be to research some boot camps. Maybe put in like ADHD-friendly boot camps. Boot camp to me sounds a little like, what's that going to be like? Or search courses. Coursera might even have some. So kind of check and see what's out there for certifications for IT and tech. Definitely a huge growing area. All right, so let's explore your plan B. So if you know college isn't the right fit, how to pin down, okay, there's lots of things I could do, but I don't even know where to start. So start maybe by just asking yourself what energizes you, what gets you excited. In ADHD lens speak, I would say, what do you do that you lose time doing? Right? Like you're so immersed in it that you're just like, oh my God, it's already time to stop, or I can't believe I just lost 5 hours and I don't even want to stop. I want to keep going. So what energizes you? And then equally important, what trains you? It's the thing that when you think about doing it, if I always say, like, if you got a job, I don't care what it's paying you. If it's paying you $1,000 an hour, that will not sustain you if you hate it. It just won't. You'll be like, literally like, I'm 5 minutes in. I have 55 more minutes. I have 54 more minutes and 55 seconds. I have 50, like it is too painful. It is too painful. Ask yourself, what structure do you thrive in? So a lot of people with ADHD may not thrive at home. I know, like, that was, I think, one of the more challenging things for me when I was starting was creating all the structure myself. When you go to work for someone else, the structure is there. When you start something on your own, or even try to do a program, it requires a lot of structure. When are you going to study? When will you do your coursework. If the course is asynchronous and you can do it at any time, what is that time? So notice what structure you thrive in so that what you move into is going to be what you need. And if it's not, then what structure would you need to put in place? So it's like, okay, I can do the certification. It's all on demand. I can do it whenever I want. Maybe then you decide every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I go to a coffee shop and I get a coffee and I sit and I have my AirPods in and I listen to the course and I do the assignment for a few hours and then, you're done. So that you're putting yourself in an environment. You go to a library, whatever it is, you're getting yourself in an environment that helps you work. And then list your strengths. So think about what you already know you're good at. It could be social. Like if you know that you are really good interacting with people, that's a definite skill, especially if you are going to be leaning into doing something that would require you to interact with people. If you are a little bit more socially, a little stressed, anxious, or struggle a little socially awkward. A lot of us can be socially awkward. Maybe looking for something that doesn't depend on you thriving socially to succeed. So it's like, yeah, I can get by, but I don't want that to be like the core of my existence as I have to. Yeah, that's what I'm doing all the time. If you are academically strong, if you're physically strong, if you have talents, look at your character strength. You can go on VIA.org and take it's viacharacter.org and take their character strength survey for free, and it will list your character strengths. But getting a sense of what fills you up and drives you and leans into your strengths is a good place to start. And then, of course, capture all your answers in your personal owner's manual so you can go back to them and keep building up your pathway to what is going to be a good fit for you. And then where to start. So I talked about a few ideas, but what I want to encourage you to do is pick one small thing that intrigues you. So if you're like, oh, okay, I'm really excited. There's lots of things I want to do. Pick one. We have great intentions, but we'll get ourselves overwhelmed trying to do everything. Pick one thing to start. So I'm going to give you some options. It could be just setting a timer for 15 minutes and just searching online to learn a little bit more. That's it. When the timer goes off, just see what you found. Maybe watching a video on that area or field that you're interested in to see, well, I don't know what this is, but it sounds interesting. Let me see if I can find something that describes or shows me what they do. Maybe you can find someone that does what you're interested in and you can talk to them and get a sense of what their schedule or their day looks like. And then maybe just write one question that you can ask someone. So it could be a coach, it could be a mentor or a trusted adult that your advisor at school, somebody that you're like, I want this question answered before I do anything else. Write that down. That's it. Just pick one thing. And remember, college is one path, but there's lots of others. And it's not the only way to build a successful, thriving life for those of us with ADHD. So create the path that gives you that ADHD-friendly life that every one of us deserves. I'm like looking right in the camera, like, yes, you deserve it. Woo! All right. On to my book of the week. I loved this. This was really, really fun to read. So it's The Poppy Fields. I shared last week The Measure, and I said I was reading not the sequel, it's completely different, but the same author. It's Nikki Erlich. And I gave this a 4 out of 5. So quick breakdown of this. This just came out June 17th, so it's only been out for a few weeks. This is another fiction. Of course, it's about a controversial new treatment for grief. You sleep through it. So almost like putting you into kind of a coma.
An induced, coma, right.
And then they do the therapy. They like bring you in and out of different phases of sleep that you're never fully aware of, but apparently you wake up and you have journeyed through that grief. And you say they do this, you wear like this poppy outfit, which is why it's called the Poppy Fields. All the people are sleeping and they're at different stages of this therapy, and they sleep for anywhere from 1 to 2 months. And so the story follows 4 main characters and a dog. So the first is the founder, the woman that founded the therapeutic treatment of the Poppy Fields. The next is a woman who is a book illustrator, and she is headed there with her dog. The next is a firefighter named Ray. And the last is a young, free-spirited woman that they come across on their way that is also ending up there. So they're all journeying for different reasons to the poppy fields. It's a very thought-provoking, gets you talking, thinking about like, would I want to do this? Do I think this is right? And it does have one serious side effect that 25% of people experience. And I don't want to say what it is because
So give it away.
it's kind of the thing that is the conversation starter. So check that out if that sounds interesting to you, or if you've read the measure and you liked it and you're interested in more. I have 2 quotes that I read from the book that I want to read that were very ADHD aligned, that I just thought, oh my gosh, when I have that happen, I'd like take a little photocopy of the book page to share. So the first was, this is the Ellis is the person that created the poppy fields.
Okay.
And she personally reviews all of the applicants. People have to apply to go there for the therapy.
treatment.
And she personally decides whether or not each person is a good fit for the therapy. And so it says, Ellis served as the final approval for every acceptance and dismissal. The files also, so she's going through all the files. The files also existed digitally, but Ellis always preferred them in print. She wanted to hold the applications in her hand. It made her feel close to the patients, and it made her feel more grounded, like she was physically attached to her work, to the people she was helping. I love that, because with ADHD, we are so out of sight, out of mind, that often we do like tactile, physical things. And so the way that they were describing it, I was like, Ellis, you sound like you might have, potentially a little ADHD brain wiring going there. Not that I would diagnose that, but I'm just saying it was funny to read it, because I'm like, that is so ADHD friendly, the way that they describe that. And then again, this is about Ellis. Again, she's just, to me, from my experience, I like reading when I read characters who there's nothing mentioned about them having ADHD. It's just, I wonder if they were a real person, if they would have ADHD. So the other thing that she said was, Ellis had a habit of speaking to herself whenever she was stressed, which was often. She untangled her most knotted up ideas while talking through them aloud. And she'd spent hours in the lab back at Stanford and later at, I don't know the name of this school, another school, reciting monologues for an audience of microbes and mice. So she's talking to these other people out loud. And she talks to the sleepers. So again, it did make me think, that was so well written, that somebody that really understands that need to verbally process described that. And I love when people kind of hit on things that describe an experience that we have with ADHD in language that makes perfect sense. So I just wanted to share that. All right, now for the quote of the week. This is from James Clear. This is my final thing. I think this has been a long episode. There's a difference between feeling tired and feeling empty. One probably needs sleep. The other may need purpose.
Oh.
Are you low on rest or low on meaning?
Ooh, I like that.
Right? I thought that really tied in with the whole, what's your path?
Yeah.
Could be college, but if it's not, what would fire you up and give you meaning? And if you're sleeping a lot, because it's hard to make a choice. It's like, I don't know, this is an overwhelm. What would help you to pin that down a little bit more easily? Maybe you need to process it verbally and talk it out. Maybe you need to just explore possibilities. I hope I gave you some ideas if that is the journey that you're on. If you would like to share any comments, this is episode 198. Thank you so much. If you're still here, check out ADHD Friendly if you would like to work with me a little bit more than checking out the episode each week. Until next week, tally ho.